Hey y'all, Coach in the Fight here. And in today's class, we're going to be answering a comment from a viewer that wants us to basically to tell them, I guess tell everybody, what it is that we need to do in order to survive this upcoming tribulation. If we want to live through it, what do we have to do? So we're looking here in the Third Testament. I'm going to use it as a backdrop because it tells us in here exactly what we have to do. That the Bible does too, and this one confirms. They both say the same thing. This is why it's important. This is important to understand. Like for instance, down here in chapter 55, verse 17. Okay, so you can read it for yourself. Normally I would read it to you, but she basically wants me to talk. So basically what this is saying is that we have to obey the law and do charitable deeds. I'm going to start you back up here at about, we'll go all the way over here. Step number one, as far as our salvation goes, is going to be baptism. We have to be purified. And that brings me to a point that I wanted to make in another video. And that's sanctification. You know, when you do the search in the Old Testament for sanctification, one of the first things you find is Moses being told that he had to sanctify all of the people before they were allowed to go up the mountain. Well, they were never allowed to go up the mountain, but before they was allowed to go close to the mountain where our Father would be, delivering the book of the covenant, they had to all be sanctified. But when you go and you look at the sanctification process, what it was that they were to wash their clothes and take a bath, or take their bath and wash their clothes. That was the sanctification process. And then they had to remain sanctified, meaning they were not to defile themselves with their wives or anything else for that matter, for 3 days. And then they were allowed to, go close to the mountain. Well, the thing about it in today's time, this sanctification process is daily. For some of us, it's more than daily. We take a bath and we put on clean clothes. And the reason why I bring that up is because during the tribulation, that's going to be an issue when people don't have clean clothes to put on or water. They won't go through the sanctification process. And you say, well, why is that necessary? Well, everything we do as far as our bodies is concerned is defiling us as far as sin is concerned. If we take a picture, if we eat the wrong thing, if we even if we break a Sabbath day rule or something like that, we have entered a sin state. But our flesh is what has committed this sin. So now pause right there and then go all the way back to the time of the Messiah or the Essenes, when they understood the spirit of the water. And there's a spirit of everything: spirit of fire, spirit of wind, spirit of the trees, everything. And so, but the spirit of the water cleanses our bodies. And so that's what John the Baptist was talking about. And that's what the Messiah did for us, is he united himself, for lack of a better word, united this spirit of the water with his plan. And now we can enjoy, for lack of a better word, the spirit of the water every time we take a bath. So basically, taking a bath is like baptism. Of course, we have to be mindful of what we're doing. If it wasn't for that, we could splash water on each other. But, if we say a prayer, asking our Father to allow this spirit of the water to cleanse our bodies, I believe that's similar to a baptism, because all of our fleshly sins have been washed away. And then we have to deal with our spiritual sins. We might not even have to talk about that in a whole new video. But this one right here, I can't help but reading it, guys. My thing is the verses. That's why I want to show you my face. I want y'all to see what the scripture. This is what I want you to see. And I want you to hear it too. So I'm going to read it. But I come to prevent, and that's important. I guess it is good that I read this, because that word is actually wrong. If you look in the Great Book of True Life, where this book comes from, these numbers down here, 302, that's lesson 302. And if you go to verses 17 and 18 in lesson 302, you will see that word is actually supposed to be protect. I come to protect the people instructed by me and humanity in general, to whom I have made myself known in this time. So the people that are instructed by him, so the people that are reading his Bible, and in humanity in general, he's saying he come to protect against this pole shift and this global earthquake and, the mark of the beast and the antichrist and all of this end time stuff. That's what he's saying. He come to protect us. But look what he says. He says, listen, my children, here is the ark. Enter, I invite you. So this is going to be a quick class as far as, what we have to do, unless, of course, I start talking about, we're not planned on doing it. But I say it's quick because these two things are the same thing the Messiah told us: to love our brother as ourselves and to love our Father with all our heart. Well, that's the same thing. I'm going to have it in reverse order. But look what it says here. For Israel, the ark is the practice of my law. And to all who fulfill my commandments in the most perilous and bitter days will find themselves within the ark, strong and feeling protected by the mantle of my love. So this is the loving our Father part right here. What he's saying is those who obey the law. Now, you say, well, you don't know the law. Remember your tassels. You can put your tassels on. So add that to the list. That's number 2. Or maybe 3. You got baptism. You got reading and learning and obeying the law. And then you got these tassels, which the tassels, I shouldn't call them tassels. They are, see, this is the problem with just talking. I'm just going to ramble on. It ain't tassels, is fringes. And fringes on your garments and these fringes have a blue hem. And when you look, a blue ribbon. And when you look at this blue ribbon, it actually tells you or reminds you of the law. And so you have these people, who will find themselves in a stressful situation, not, in these perilous times, not knowing particular rules on this, that, and the other, who are going to say their prayers. And then they're going to look down at their tassels or their fringes. And then they're going to be reminded spiritually of the right path to take. What are they supposed to do, right and wrong? So we got to put some tassels on. And then we got to read the law, which is Exodus chapter 20 through 24. That's what he's talking about when he said my law. That's Exodus chapter 20 through 24, 20 through 23, 4 chapters. It ends at 24 verse 7. But so put that down. You got to read that. You got to read the law so that you'll be able to practice it. We have to put it on your spirit, on your heart, on your mind, so that when these days come, you'll at least be reminded of the law and what it is we're supposed to do, how we're supposed to treat each other. But then notice 19, it says, and to all of humanity, I say again, the ark is the law of love. And all who practice love and charity with their fellow man and with themselves will be saved. So now this is to all of humanity. Now notice up here that this is who he was talking to up here. He said he came to protect those instructed by me, which is those who listen to the law, and humanity. And then so he talked about those who are instructed by him, and then he's talking of these people down here who practice law and who practice love and charity. But it's important to note that word "and" there. He didn't say "or." We got to do both, and that's tricky because you got a lot of Old Testament people who are keeping the law, but they ain't about to give you nothing. And then you have a lot of people who will gladly give you, something that they have, but they know nothing of the law. And what he's saying is we got to do both. So we got to read the book of the covenant, and at the same time, we got to do these charitable deeds, particularly like on Atonement Day. And that brings me to my next point as far as being saved, guys. The feast days is what's going to save you. You can laugh all you want, you can argue all you want, but if you don't keep the feast days, you're going to die. If you keep the feast days, you're going to live. Simple as that. Simple as that. Because the reason why is, one, the Feast of Unleavened Bread is what makes you fall in love with this law and what actually puts it on your heart. In Princeton, that's what he say about the mark of our Father. If you're celebrating Easter during that time, you're going to get the mark of the beast. And, that's what this is. That's what these war of the words is all about. It's what these people are fighting about nowadays is, you have the people of the dark. These, I'm going to have to mash the gas on you guys just a little bit. Okay, you have 3 kinds of people in this world. You have the people who emanated from the Lamb. Then you have the people who emanated from the bear. And then you have the people who emanated from the dragon. Okay, now without getting all into the keys of Enoch, just trust me, you have these type of people walking around: bears, dragons, and lambs. The lambs are, well, I ain't got to tell you who they are. I ain't got to tell you who these bears and these um, dragons are. You could just, all you got to imagine is three different kinds of people. Even go back to Ham, Shem, and Japheth if you want to. But you have these three kinds of people who are walking around. The thing about the two, the bear and the dragon, they are associated with, I'm trying to think, Ursa Minor or Ursa Major, and I don't know. I can't. It's in the keys of Enoch. The thing about it, when we have this star alignment and we get this new heaven, the lamb is what's going to be dominant in the air. That's how we're going to see our the Son of Man in the sky. There's actually going to be a new heaven, and when we see this new heaven, it's going to change our Mazzaroth. It's going to change our star constellations so that we will no longer see Aries and Pisces. We're going to see this new thing that's going to, once Ursa Minor is out of the way, once can't remember that other star constellation. The one with the dragon, the dragon constellation. Once those are moved out of our view and we no longer see those, then the Lamb, which will appear, the Son of Man will appear in the sky, and that's what's going to change humanity. It is those negative forces, the dragons and the bears, that are blocking us, that are holding back, that are dampening our spirit. So you have, looking back at this verse then, trying to get back on track, you have these people, the lamb type individuals, that's going to be dominant in this time. Let's see. And to all of humanity, I say the ark is the law of love. But anyway, if y'all interested in that kind of stuff, let me know. Like I said, I really need to mash the gas a little bit anyway and start teaching from the keys of Enoch. The thing about it, the young sheep are going to get they're going to get a little bit scattered because it's really serious stuff over there, and those who still need the milk are going to suffer a little. But anyway, so I guess what I'm trying to say here, in a nutshell, is that if we want to be saved, we're going to have to build our ark, just like Noah had to do. The thing about our ark now, like he just told us, is love for our brother that's actually doing stuff. And the problem that people have, in my own observation, is that people think they do charity. Every time you talk to somebody, you need to do charity. They say, oh, I always do charity. And then they go on to talk about how they almost gave somebody the shirt off their back. It's like, what? Yeah, they was talking. I said, I'll get the shirt off my back. And I was about to give it to them, but they didn't really want it. It's like, that ain't really charity. You didn't really do anything. And then we got to do a lot of charity. What did the Messiah say? Take everything you had and sell it and give it to the poor. That's the level of charity we're talking about. Not just giving something you don't want, but giving till it hurts. And then studying the law, or being prepared to do the law in the times. Because see, we're not held accountable for the law right now. Sure, we may not get blessed when we do wrong deeds, but we're not getting punished. Our Father doesn't punish us. He wrote a book and gave us instructions so that when these perilous times come, we will know how to act, what to do and what not to do, so that we don't cause demons to come on us or cause people to come on us, cause people that, want to fight and hurt us and stuff. We basically following the commandments are not doing the things that would get us hurt in that time, during these perilous times. The rest of the world not knowing about these times and not having the water and the clean clothes to sanctify themselves. The world is going to become really chaotic really quickly before, all of these bear people and these dragon people kill themselves, leaving only the lambs alive to survive. You see right here, he says his law will be like the ark. And this is the message in this whole Bible, in this whole Third Testament, is that we have to know the law and we have to do charity. I mean, I was going to go into a whole lot of other stuff. Let me rattle off some stuff. What we say, be baptized, read the book called The Shepherd of Hermes. You got to read that a lot. Read it and then read it again and then read it again and then read it again. What else? This Third Testament. Oh, we got to learn how to pray. This Third Testament is necessary too. Because stuff like it teaches us how to pray. It teaches us why we're here. It teaches us about spirit to spirit communication. It teaches us about telepathy. You say, well, telepathy? Yeah. What do you think you're doing when you pray for somebody or send them good thoughts? That's telepathy. Well, if you don't know how to control your thoughts, that's going to be bad. I mean, I can teach you in this book, right, from this book right here, but just read it yourself. Reading this book is going to be necessary. Even if you haven't read the Bible, read this one or listen to it several times. So put that on the list. Third Testament, Shepherd of Hermes. I said that, but you might have overlooked it. Extremely important. What else? Charity, charity, charity. But that's what we're talking about here. Do charity, charity, charity. I mean, charity. Do a lot. Like, how much money you got in your pocket? Okay, give it away right now. All of it. Yeah. How much food in your refrigerator? Go cook somebody. I mean, guys. Go get some water bottles and take them to the bus station in your local city, to the bus station where people waiting on bus, and just ask if anyone wants some free water. We gotta do. What else can we do? Oh, we gotta stop eating blood. Guys, we're eating blood. Anytime we eat somebody else's meat at the restaurant, even processed food at the store, we're eating blood. They don't process that meat. Right. Go look at one of them old disgusting movies, them shows. Watch Food Inc. That's a good one. Food Inc. It's about 2 hours on Food Inc. If not, watch a short little video about how they process animals, like a cow, and how they, bust them in the head and hang them up and let all the blood out and strip the hide off and cut the meat up and put him in packages. But what you'll notice is he never touches water. And so that meat in that store has never touched water, and that water has never been on it. And then it has that little pad thing under it that's red. And they try to tell you that ain't blood. Dude, you lunching. And so we eat that. And that was one of the first commandments, if not definitely was one of the first ones that actually carried the death penalty, told back there with Noah, that we can't eat blood. And see, that brings me back to the feast days, because it is the Feast of Pentecost that we have to participate in, that will take this bloodthirst away from us. In other words, if we miss the Feast of Pentecost, we can end up eating blood. We will, and according to the book of Jubilees, you will end up eating blood because you didn't keep that feast day. That's the blood feast. Each of the feast days have something to do with it, like tabernacles that teaches you that, your house is not your protector. Our Father is your protector, and it kind of makes you invincible. It kind of gives you your wings, like, whatever, throw what you want at me now. Like in me 2014, that was a tornado that came at me. And I was in a tent, if that is, it's going to take a lot to scare me after that, because, it was only prayer that saved me then. And I'm like, I since learned how to pray by looking at this Third Testament of the Bible in chapter 17, which teaches us how to pray. And that's another thing we need to learn, is how to pray. And one of the main things we're going to learn, other than praying silently, guys, you got to pray silently. Open mouth prayer is a materialistic prayer, and you are just like that guy with a microphone praying downtown DC. I don't care if you're in your closet. If you're saying it out loud, you're still doing the same. There's no difference. It's still a materialized prayer. He's closer to you than your eyelashes. So while you're talking to him, praying out loud is equivalent to me and you being in the room together. But I'm going to talk to you as if you're outside. I'm going to ignore the fact that you're in the room. And I'm going to listen to you when you talk because I have no way of hearing you from outside. He's not going to speak to us verbally. So we have to listen to him from in our conscious, from in our room. But then instead of talking to him back through our conscious, through our thoughts, and because he's in our spirit, we start talking out loud. So that's equivalent to going out the window, opening up the window and talking to him out there. So it would sound like this, you talking to me in this tone, but then when it's time for me to talk, then I gotta, hey, come over here. Are you ready to go to verse 9? No, he's over here, so stop praying out loud. And the other thing, guys, is we're going to address him as Father when we pray. Do you know how many Elohim are listening to your prayer? That's why, do you know how many Elohim are listening to your prayer? When I say Elohim, I mean angels, spirits, demons, everything in the spirit world. Your ancestors, your old great grandmother can hear you pray because if she's in the spirit world, they are different in the spirit world. They have a lot going on there that we don't understand. But one of the things they have going on is that, the whole E equals MC squared things, which mean they can travel at the speed of light, which means they can appear in our presence. The only thing is, with their M being 0, they cannot do anything, see anything. They can't even make a verbal sound with their voice, but they can hear us. My point is that if we start blurting out stuff, hey, give me a car, who's going to answer that? Who's going to answer that prayer? You don't know which Elohim is going to say, hey, I got that. It may be Michael, it may be Gabriel, but it may be one of them S words, Sam Jael, one of them dudes. They say step up, and he usually is, jumps up and say, hey, let me handle it. I'll get you a car. We can get a car real quick, real easy. No money down, all that. So my point is that when we pray, just like the Messiah told us, he said, well, how's he talking? This is, if we don't know how to pray, you're going to die. You're not going to be able to invoke the angels necessary to give you direction, food, clothing, and shelter in these perilous times. So it's necessary that when we pray, we start off just like our Messiah, our Master told us, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. And of course, we're saying that silently. And then once we do that, go through all of those steps, go pick up the Lord's Prayer so you can get it. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Once we say this silently, it's like dialing a phone that puts us in the spirit world. So now everything we say after that is heard by our Father. And nobody else can jump in and say, hey, I'm going to interfere. Because what does that look like then? Think of your daddy. What if you talk to your daddy face to face? You knocked on the door and, proper communication. Hello, Father, I would like to speak with you about such matters. And then after that conversation, he was like, whatever, and, let whatever happen to you. That don't make sense. Your daddy will never do that. If you got his attention properly, he's definitely going to snap too. Well, our Father is taught you our daddies, So, of course, he's better than our daddies. So when we open up our prayers successfully, then we can expect them to be answered. Well, the opposite is true too. If we do not address him as Father, you call people like, I call him daddy. Okay. You're going to die. He ain't your daddy. You look like your daddy. Our Father is infinite. You only are in his image. And that image is righteousness and holiness. And in that righteousness and holiness is obedience. And in his righteousness and in that obedience is calling him Father. I'm trying to find the verse in here where he told you flat out, don't call him nothing else. He don't want to be called anything else but Father. And then, that kind of reminds me of the Bible where it says Abba, which Abba is the Hebrew word for a father. So we learn in the New Testament that Abba is acceptable. And that's why you hear me calling him Father Abba. But I'm trying to find this verse. Anyway, starting to look at Elijah here. You're going to have to meet Elijah. If you want to survive the tribulation, you and Elijah are going to become buddies. I did a video not too long ago when I first met Elijah. It freaked me out. But it was an extreme case, an extreme moment where my life and other people's lives were in danger And so he had to step in that situation to save somebody's life. But like I said, it freaked me out. Thing is, his presence never went away. It's just not so pronounced. And the thing about it, the way we get his presence, his help, is through charity, through doing good deeds, through helping people. And let me see if it says it here. Elijah, a spirit of great power who has not been recognized by humanity, has always been my forerunner. Today he has come once again to prepare the chosen, those who have served me as spokesman, and to all of humanity. Now, notice this part. This takes me to a whole nother point. We got to serve each other, guys. Why do you think I'm making these videos? I got 1,000 videos up here. This is all I've been doing since 2017, 2016, 2015, really, is making these videos. I used to work I was a manager, quality assurance manager at one point. Well, still am. I knew those certifications never go away. I am a quality assurance manager for the nuclear power industry. Now, I can still now go get a job. Right now, I can show up and say I'm qualified as a quality assurance manager for a nuclear power plant, at a nuclear power. In the nuclear power, it don't have to be power industry. Anybody, I can go work at CERN as their quality assurance manager. Be interested to know if they would actually hire me. But my point is, I gave all of that up to come and give you this class. And I don't even monetize my channel. Notice I don't have any commercials. Notice, nothing. But I'm serving you guys daily. This video right here is because somebody basically say, hey, can you ramble on and tell us what we need to do? So, okay. I used to make $44 an hour, regular time. During crunch time, it was $1 a minute. But now I work for free, serving our Father's people. And you say, well, why? Well, I just did a class not too long ago. Y'all remind me to give you the link to it. I'll give you the timestamp so you can jump right to it. It's a long class that talks about how serving people changes us. It changes our light frequencies on a higher level, like we was talking about earlier. Pleiades and, Kimmel and Kizzle, all of these, star constellations are emanating light frequencies towards us. These are the Ophanim that actually teaches stuff. That clock I invented earlier, the Ophanim, they want to do all of us. They teach us songs. That's where our music comes from and all of that. These are these Ophanim. Where our prophets get all of their information from. They are Ophanim. That's the type of angel they are, the type of spirit they are. The Ophanim. Enoch is an Ophanim. Thing about it, their communication, the beings of communication with the sole purpose of telling us stuff. How to invent a clock, how to do this, how to write some scripture like the keys of Enoch or something like that. These are what they're here for. And so we have to make these connections with them. And the way we do this, people are like, I got plenty of... No, there's only one way to do it. And that's actually serving humanity. You got to do something to serve humanity. And in your own way. But you got to do it. You got to watch that video. You got to serve humanity. But anyway, my point here is that Elijah, he's making his point that he comes once again to prepare those who are serving humanity as spokesman and humanity. So here's a bit of separation. And that reminds me of another separation, guys, and that's the Sabbath day. You're going to have to learn to do the Sabbath day. Like, he's jumping around. Look, that's what she said. She wanted me to ramble alone. So you're going to have to do the Sabbath day. You're going to have to keep the Sabbath day, and you're going to have to make it a joyful experience. You remember the best Sunday dinner you ever been to, and then overlap all of that, except the sun god worship, onto a Sabbath day and say, this is how we're going to do it. You're going to cook your meal before. You're not going to cook on Sunday. You're not going to cook on the Sabbath day. Everything going to be already prepared. Big meal. Everybody over. Music. Instead of the football game, we may have a Bible study or something like that. But we have to make it a delight. And like we learned in our last video, making it a delight gives you the blessings of Jacob. And the blessings of Jacob are food, clothing, and shelter, and protections in the path. So if we don't make our Sabbath day a delight, we are not guaranteed to eat. We're not guaranteed to have clothes in these troublous times. And you go off and you watch TV still, watch movies. Go off and watch some of these post-apocalyptic movies. My favorite is called The Book of Eli. These post-apocalyptic movies where the sun is scorching us. This is what is, the Bible talks about this, the sun being 7 times hotter. This is actually what's going on. It's actually going on now. You say, well, how is the sun 7 times hotter? It's not talking about heat. We ain't worried about heat. It's the UV rays. UVC particularly is 7 times higher than it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be below 3. Below 3. Anytime the UVC index is above 3, anytime the UVC index is above 3, people with fair skin, white people, are in danger of getting skin cancer. Light-skinned people like me too, are in danger of getting skin cancer. We got issues, I mean, we could get skin cancer by being exposed to the UVC rays. The thing about the UVC rays is instead of being below 3, they're up in 16 and 17, way hotter, 7 times hotter than if they're supposed to be at 2, they're at 14. Well, that's 7 times hotter, 7 times higher. And now even the dark-skinned people, like me, are getting, and it ain't now. It's not going on now. It's when we have this pole shift and our atmosphere is wiped away, is stripped away, we will be exposed to this 7 times, this really bad sun, and it's going to cook us a lot faster. So we have to have these protections of Jacob. We can't dodge all of that. I mean, you're dodging the sun and you're getting something to eat. That's an oxymoron. How you going to get food if you don't go outside? Well, we have these Ophanim, like Elijah particularly, that comes in and helps us. That's what it means when it says, you have Enoch and Elijah in the times. There's actually 3 of them. Enoch, Elijah, the third one. He's in the spirit world. We don't talk about him so much because there are entities in the spirit world that are working. These same people we're talking about, these Ophanim, and guardian angels and, ancestors and all of that, they too are working in this fight, except they're working from the spirit world. And so you have, a third of them in the spirit world where you have an Enoch type alive and Elijah type alive. Elijah is the kicking in the door type. Enoch is the brainiac type. So anyway, you'll know if you're an Enoch or Elijah type. Anyway, we all are expecting this Elijah because he's the third guy. You have the Messiah. Well, you have Moses. The Messiah was second, and then you have Elijah, and that's important. That's another thing, guys. If you want to live, you're gonna have to get with the facts. There's a lot of stuff that people don't know. And just like everything else, anything we don't know already, we automatically discount it and think that it's not true. And so when I'm start talking some of this scripture to you, you're like, I don't believe that. That's your problem. That's your problem. Because the scripture is our instruction. And if you don't believe the scripture, then you're not going to have the instruction. And you say, well, what about the books they took out? Well, who is they? And why did they take them out? You have to understand that. And once you understand who they are and why they took them out, took those books out and what books they took out, then you understand that the first books you need to read are the ones they took out. Enoch, the Third Testament, Jubilees, Jasher, the Shepherd of Hermes used to be in the New Testament. That was a New Testament book. That one and the Epistle of Barnabas was the only 2 New Testament books that they made apocryphal. They took them out of the New Testament. They was once in the New Testament, and then they took them out. Let's see, what else can I think of, Ralla, that we're going to have to do in order to survive? Next thing is the spiritual warfare. Guys, we're going to have to understand this spiritual warfare because we are here at the end of the Eve spirit. The reign of Eve. This mess that we're in, sorry to say it, facts are facts though. Like we just said, you got to go with the truth. This started when Eve had that conversation with Satan in the garden and chose to disobey our Father. That's when it started. That was the one foot. The next foot that came down was that Adam listened to her. That was the big move. Adam actually listened and obeyed and did what she said do. And once he bit into that fruit, it started a 6,000-year curse on humanity. 6,000-year curse on humanity. The thing about it, that 6,000-year curse is almost up. And that's what you see here going on in society with all of these women running amok. It's like they have been incarnated into this time so that they can be at the peak of this Eve spirit, so that when it all goes down, they can get the brunt force of what's about to happen to them. In other words, now the beast system has them dependent on food stamps, welfare, jobs, schools, checks, churches, hospitals, banks, Walmarts, grocery stores, gas stations, computer, everything. The world is tied into this beast system, and the woman, she is enjoying it the most because her money basically becomes the replacement for not only her husband and her son, but also her creator, her father in heaven. She don't have to ask her son to come over and mow the grass. She can pay somebody to come mow the grass. She don't have to wait on her husband to give her a place to live or a car. She can go buy that herself, or go and drive to the grocery store and buy all the food she wants herself. And she don't have to wait on our Father in heaven to grow that food for her or to give it to her in any other means. Like I said, she drive that car to the store and get the food and the clothes, the blessings of Jacob. She don't have to do the Sabbath day in order to get the blessings of Jacob because she has money. Well, in this time, when she is flaunting that money, I laugh. I'm doing you a favor when I laugh at you. But in that time, woman, when you are flaunting that money, especially the widows, we are approaching a time when it's going to be absolutely stripped from you. It says it plainly, anybody who is dependent on money will die first from starvation. And then to the degree that we are dependent on it. So some woman going, man, I don't know what you're talking about. I ride a horse and I tend my cows, and I'm this, that, and the other. Yeah. That ain't who we talking about. We talking about the woman downtown, She ain't listening to this video because she in and out of the stores, fussing at the people because they won't, anyway. That type of spirit, we're at the height of it now. We're at the point where that falls. My point in all this is we gotta separate ourselves from this Jezebel spirit, this Eve spirit, the women, the men too. Because remember, the men's fault is the Ahab spirit. They're following behind and obeying these women. We got to stop obeying these women. And women got to stop obeying these women. Women got to stop obeying these women and start obeying the men. Or I feel sorry for a lot of people, if you can't tell. But anyway, I don't know what to say about that. Let's go on. Spiritual warfare. I'll wrap that up with spiritual warfare. We're going to have to learn spiritual warfare. Get these demons off of us. And that goes back to that whole taking out a bath thing, because taking out a bath and consecrating yourself gets the spirits off. So we got to learn to use that to our ability, else we won't make it. All right, so I can't think of anything else. I'm trying. Let me think one more time. If I got anything else. You're going to have to learn how to use the calendar. You're going to have to learn how to... Or are you? Let me think. See, the thing about it, like we talked about, the stars are going to get realigned. The thing about it, the moon is not going to shine properly, and the sun, they both going to be disrupted. So you're not going to have the celestials to shine properly. But our planet will still spin and turn and move at the same, so the time period will still be going on. It's just we won't know what time it is because, we won't be able to see the celestials. So at some point, the Elohim is supposed to take over and teach us what we need to know. But then what do you do between now and then? Because if you miss the feast days, you turn yourself back into a heathen. So you got to learn the calendar between now and then. And that's the way our Father does it anyway, because what he's going to do then is that information you already have about the calendar, he's just going to use it to now teach you the days that you're supposed to do what properly. So yeah, put that on the list. You're going to have to learn the calendar. One way or the other, you're going to know how, and it's easy. The only problem is that we want it to look like the Gregorian calendar, and that's different. That's two different things. It's not the same at all. You know, we like it's like asking, it's like a diesel mechanic trying to work on a gasoline car, and he's frustrated and he's mad because the gasoline car won't act like the diesel. It's never going to happen. You're going to have to forget about the diesel. You got literally forget everything you know about that diesel, and then come over here and learn this gasoline. And then once you learn this gasoline engine, then you can go back and you can work on your diesel engine if you so desire. But you can't mix them up. They don't work. They're incompatible. So you have to learn our Father's calendar, the Genesis 1:14 calendar. All right, let's spin through here one time at random. Let's see. And if we don't get nothing on this page, we're just gonna call it quits. Yeah. Talking about these many mansions. Do you need to know about the mansions? The divine concert? The thing about it, this is going to overwhelm you. This is the Shekinah glory. And what it is the Spirit Valley coming low. But we've talked about that. You know, these Ophanim. All right, let's look at 250. Yes, blank. All right, guys. So we're going to leave it there. If you have any questions or anything, if I miss anything, let's talk about it below. Like I said, this is a unique video. If you made it this far in the video, please give me, put the word Trinity in your comment. I'm looking here at the computer and I saw the word T. It actually says ThinkPad. But all I saw was T. So I said Trinity. So if you use that word in your comment somewhere or your reply, I know that you actually made it through the video. And I appreciate you guys and all of you guys who watched the video and all you guys who support the channel and all of you Levites who are stepping up. There is a few Levites stepping up, and I've already given them serious assignments. Some of them are brand new. I'm trying to figure out what they want to do. If you're interested in helping out the channel, give us an email at yahoo.com. That's inthefight@yahoo.com. And I'll see you in the comment section or in the email.